Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only.
Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be a video on the 3 new high-end weapons that have been added in Episode 3. If you don't have Episode 3, I'm pretty sure you get these weapons, but I will note one thing: you might have to acquire them a little bit differently. If you guys are new, welcome to the channel. If you guys are returning players, welcome back. They have been added Episode 3 if you guys have the Year 1 pass, and make sure you guys subscribe. I upload daily Division 2 content. But the 3 new weapons are high-end. I'm not going to add the Chameleon because it is an exotic weapon, which I will talk about that later on in a different video. But first, to get the first 2 I'm going to be talking about, and that's going to be the rifle, the UCI-15 and the G28 Marksman rifle. You can actually go to your map and go over to Coney Island and do both these missions. You will receive both these weapons. If you don't have access to this DLC yet in these missions, you can farm different areas to acquire this, like the loot allocation for rifles and the loot allocation for marksman rifles. You should get this weapon to drop. I actually think that the theater settlement is selling the UCI-15, and I think Cassie Mendoza is selling one of the other named weapons, or the other high-end weapon, not the named one, as well, if you want to go there and see if she's still selling it. But first is going to be the G28 Marksman rifle. This is a semi-automatic marksman rifle, has 37.6k damage, 40 rounds in the mag. This one has Vindictive, Accurate, and Cannon. This one's actually pretty awful, but it's the only one I've found. I cannot find another one. I know one of my other buddies found one earlier, but I would recommend finding one that has way better talents than this. You can't put whatever mod you want on here, from the stability scopes to the headshot damage scopes. I can't put the digital one on here because I'm not using sharpshooter, but from the DTE stuff like that, you can put pretty much any scope you want on here. Same goes for the muzzle if you want to put stability, accuracy, DTE, even the Omega rifle suppressor for the stability, and you can pretty much put whatever magazine you want here as well. So if you want 40 rounds in the mag, you can have 40 rounds, which is pretty awesome. And I will show you guys the RPM on this weapon real quick, and the stability when you have all the stability attachments, which is actually not too bad. But I know a lot of guys are going to be using this on their Aces builds. At least that's what a lot of people I know have told me they're going to be testing it out on. Now, the next gun is going to be the UIC-15, which is the Mod 2, which is a rifle. It does kind of look like a P416 or a Carbine 7. I know it looks a little weird, but it has 13k damage, 264 RPM with 30 rounds in the mag. You can obviously have a little bit more damage if you're spec'd more into rifles. Same goes for the Marksman rifle, but I have no rifle damage spec'd into the specialization yet, because this is the new Firewall specialization. This one does have Boomerang, Allegro, and Protected Reload on it. You can put whatever attachment you want here as well, because it has 4 attachment points from the grip, suppressor, mag, and the scope. So you can pretty much whatever you want on here, and I will show you guys the RPM on it with Allegro real quick. And it's actually pretty nice. This is actually probably one of my favorite rifles, but at the moment, I only use this in PvE, because in PvP, a lot of people are using the M1A, and that's the rifle I tend to use. And I really don't use rifles at all in case I run out of bullets in my main guns, and I usually have to switch to something else, but that's very unlikely. But that's pretty much both those guns. Like I said, you can acquire those from Coney Island. If not, farm the loot allocations that are marked on your map for both rifles and marksman rifles. Now, the next gun is going to be the one I know a lot of you guys were real excited about, and it's going to be the Honey Badger. I was really excited for this weapon. Originally, I thought it was going to be an SMG, but then I started thinking, I was like, no, this is going to be an assault rifle. It makes more sense to be an assault rifle. But this one has 18k damage, 869 RPM with 50 rounds in the mag. And you'll notice it does have 869 RPM, which does have Allegro measured on it, but Allegro gives the 10% RPM, so you actually have higher RPM than the P416, which only has 825, so it has a little bit less damage, but you can make up damage from using stuff like Spark, Composure, Berserk, Measured, or even Crit and stuff like that to make up a little bit more damage for it. But overall, I'm really happy to use this gun because I've been a huge fan of it for a long time. But the attachment points are going to be a little bit different compared to the P416. One difference is the barrel on this is an integrated suppressor, so you will not be able to put any attachment points on the suppressor, but you can put the laser pointer in whatever grip you want. Same goes for the scope and the magazine. You can put the plus 20 and have 50 rounds in the magazine. Originally, I thought it was 40, but I'm just an idiot. I forgot to put the round mag on, so that's why I thought it was 40, but you can have 50 rounds in this gun, which is pretty awesome. I will show you guys a demonstration on the firing real quick how fast it is if you have Allegro measured on here, which is pretty awesome. This actually probably be my go-to PvE and PvP weapon. I can't wait to test it out in both those and see how well it functions, because it actually did take me a while to get this combination. I got a few others which actually a little bit weird. This one has Allegro on it, which you have to find Allegro on it if you want to put measured on here or any other talent, but I'd recommend finding Allegro. to get a little bit more RPM out of it, so it actually has a pretty high RPM rating on it. But compared to something like, you can see a 790 without it, and if you go to this one, which is 500, it's a little weird because this one is actually way, higher damage, but it's only 497, which doesn't really make sense to me. But then you go down to this one, which is a 498, it's 17.6. So I don't know if that's a bug or something, but this gun hits way harder than both those, even the 500 one. But I'm just not sure. But to find this weapon, you guys are going to go to pretty much the loot allocation for assault rifles, which is right here at the moment, which is the bank headquarters, and also the Grand Washington Hotel. Just a reminder, depending on when you're watching this video, this could change, but just make sure you farm the assault rifle loot allocation, which is this icon right here. So it may be in the DZ, it may be in Camp White Oak, it might be something completely different, but this goes for all of the weapons I've shown here. You guys can farm the loot allocations, and it should drop. But that's pretty much the 3 named high-end weapons they've added. I'm not going to include the Chameleon, like I said, because it is not a high-end weapon. So before you guys ask why I did not include it, and that's why. But thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you subscribe. More Division 2 content.